I start it or not? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we start with Peter first.
Hold on, please. I'm trying to join with my laptop so that I can share. But I couldn't see where to join with the team. I mean, with the breakup. Do I need to exit from here before joining?
Peter, so only Peter is here. Can you share the screen now, Peter?
Yeah, I said I am on my phone. Yeah, I'm using phone, and I want to join with laptop. So I'm trying to see how to join the breakup on laptop.
Yeah. You only need to click on share screen.
Not on this one.
Let's see.
I want to join with my laptop. I think I'm on the general platform there.
Yeah, yes, please join with your laptop and share your screen. That should work better.
Okay.
Yeah. Not any other presenter in here, yes?
I don't know why the Monica Yo joined us already. Yeah.
I haven't received any email from any presenter in this session about their withdrawal or cancellation. So I don't know why they haven't turned up yet. Okay, keep waiting time. I will leave this room now and join other room to see how
Yes,
it's going
yes,
with other room.
yes.
Waiting for a few minutes to see
Okay.
how it's go, and then Peter may be able to resend first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on that already.
Okay, great.
Recording in progress.
So Peter, let me know when you are ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me try now.
Okay, it's fine now.
Let me just try and share my. I'm have to close some of the documents here.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And let me close some of my documents.
Yeah,
So
please share your screen.
Yeah, so that I can share.
Oh, 1 p.m. Mokayo, you are here with us? Are you here? Mokayo?
So I'm closing some of the documents that I opened. I couldn't share.
Hi, Mokayo.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. So, Peter,
Okay. Is it?
can you wait
You
for
should hold on.
yes, Mokayo first, and then your session. Okay, that's
Okay.
yours.
Okay then.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm sharing a screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, yes, I can see yours.
I'm so sorry because I'm losing connection.
Oh, yes,
And
yes, okay.
internet is oscillating very much around here.
So,
But I'll try to
yes,
present
yes.
it anyway.
Okay. So everyone,
Okay.
we will start with
Thank
our
you.
first presenter on the paper multimodal test for developing intercultural competence in the teaching and learning of Brazilian Portuguese as an additional language, single case study by Ms. Van Pia Mocayo at the University of Minas Gerais State. So Mokayo, you have 20 minutes to present, and then we have 10 minutes for discussion with the participant of our room. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
very much
your
for
turn. Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes. Then my name is Vanubia. Wait a minute. Sure. My name is Vanubia. I am an English lecturer at Amazonas State University. And NEPLAN is my research group. NEPLAN stands for Bilingual Education and Research in Applied Linguistics and Literature. The research is multimodal texts for developing intercultural competence in the teaching and learning of Brazilian Portuguese as an additional language, a single case study at the University of Amazonas State in Manaus, Brazil. Then Portuguese language has been taught worldwide, and we also have received a lot of foreign students from other regions around the world. We have French students, Peruvians, Bolivians, Canadians, also American students, and they are in need of learning Portuguese in order to study in the university. Then Amazonas State University has developed some Portuguese programs for these people, Portuguese as an additional language. Then we teach Portuguese for undergraduate students from exchange university programs, also for post-graduation students from the program of Coalition for Education Enablement, which results from a partnership between the Organization of American States, the Pan America Health Organization, and the Coimbras Group of Brazilian Universities, with the support of the Division of Educational Subjects from the Brazilian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And because of immigration flows, we have been developing extension programs for refugees. Then, for now, we are receiving a lot of Peruvians, Venezuelans, Bolivians, who are studying Portuguese in our university. Then, during the pandemics, we started to develop a program, a multimodality. According to Crescent Valuen, cross-modality refers to the use of several semiotic modes in the design of a semiotic product or event, together with the particular way in which these models are combined. They may, for instance, reinforce each other, say the same thing in different ways, fulfill complementary roles, or be hierarchically ordered. Then these semiotic modes make up the multimodal texts, which we are using to teach Portuguese as an additional language. And multimodal texts refer to not only to verbal language, but also visual language, which allow to build a representation of the roles, which is the representation function. Attribute roles to the represented participants, people, objects, and institutions, and establish different relationships between participants in the text as well as with the audience. Interactional metafunction, in addition to organizing meanings as a whole for the comprehension of the text, which is the composition metafunctions. Then I use it for this definition. I used three Brazilian authors, Nascimento, Bezerra, and Eberle. Eberle was my advisor who introduced me to SFL studies at the University of Santa Catarina, at the Federal University of Santa Catarina. Then the multimodal text, what we believe is that because of the manipulation of the semiotic resources in the teaching of Portuguese language as an additional language, we believe that it can develop intercultural competence. But what is intercultural competence? Simply put, means the ability to dealing with one another, considering different and divergent behavioral components, orientations, cognitions, beliefs, and attitudes towards the world. Then the objective of this study is to use the multimodal texts in order to develop, generate intercultural competence in the students, in the post-graduation students, linked to the master and doctoral degree programs of Amazonas State University by means of the program of Coalition for Education and Enablement. And then I use it for this research. Research action. As far as we know, research action in education concern to study the professionals' practice for improvement of the professional practice. Then when we talk about research action, we need a theoretical and methodological account. And here I'm showing you the action research cycle, which is concerned with planning. Then I planned all the lessons by using the multimodal texts. During acting, which was the time I was teaching using this tool, there was the generation of data. Then I observed this process during 6 months, which then reflections were generated. And I could notice how the analytical categories of grammar of visual designs could be fruitful in helping developing intercultural competence. Then I'll show you a sampling of a lesson taught for these students with this intention of developing intercultural competence. And I was teaching Brazilian Portuguese idioms. And in this teaching of Portuguese idioms, by using the multimodal texts, by exploring the category of representational metafunction, I used this picture to teach the expression estar no limbo in Portuguese. This expression, estar no limbo in Portuguese, is equivalent to going through hard times in English. Then I showed the students this picture, this image, and I started to manipulate the theoretical tools of grammar of visual design by encouraging students to describe the picture. As we know, President Veloan defines this image as a narrative representation. A human figure is identifiable at the center of the avenue. And there are arrows, as you can see, on the floor. And this figure, this human figure, is walking in a side exit opposite to, which is opposite to the arrows on the floor. which means that he's probably going through difficult moments, difficult times. This may suggest uncomfortable, uneasy situation. He might be experiencing inner conflicts, you see, and also the colors. The colors also say a lot when we are translating an image like this one. Dark colors, a place dimly lit, you see, may suggest a situation which is not very clear. It is blurred. Maybe this human being is full of doubts, is in a state of feeling depressed. Then this somehow translates the expression estar no limbo in Portuguese, because when we say that we are in the limbo, nós estamos no limbo in Portuguese, this means that you are not in a good situation, you are feeling depressed, you are feeling exhausted, you are in a state of profound doubt, you see, and then this guy is like this. And with this definition, by using these semiotic modes, students can realize how this can be translated into their culture. Because in this group of students, we have Peruvians, we have different cultures, Peruvians, Bolivians, Venezuelans, also indigenous people. You see, there are many people involved in this class, and they could at the same time compare this, this feeling to their culture, the way people feel when they are going through hard moments, you see. Then this is more or less, this is to show you how I use the multimodal text to teach Portuguese and also to enhance this competence awareness, because before enhancing competence, intercultural competence, you should enhance intercultural awareness, which goes through levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Then it is a gradual, time. It's teaching gradually so that students can raise this intercultural awareness, comparing how it is to be going through hard moments in their culture and in the other culture. Then it is the state of comparing one culture to another. Then this is a sampling of how the multimodal texts were fruitful in generating this intercultural competence, intercultural awareness. And from this study, we came to the conclusion that the semiotic modes making up multimodal texts contribute not only to generate social interaction, as advocated by Pereira Jr., 2021, but also to build bridges in understanding communication embedded in between cultures. The more semiotic modes are explored and highlighted for the sake of social and culturally communicating an event, the more intercultural awareness is brought into play until it reaches its highest level. when a learner is able to interact in between among cultures from local to global levels. For this to occur, it is of paramount importance that the instructor's intervention concentrates in the sense of guiding students to manipulate semiotic modes for the construal of both meanings and feelings, such as empathy, respect, and solidarity, which are at the core of intercultural competence. Then coming to a conclusion, obviously that I exemplified using only one image, but the texts we used with them were in a high number of situations for each moment of speaking or grammar aspects. And what I can say is that I really noticed that as we practice, as we deploy the multimodal texts, this somehow encourages students to speak, to develop awareness of Portuguese, of Brazilian's culture, and then compare a Brazilian's culture to their culture, but comparing in the sense of feeling this culture as part of their culture as well, because this is what intercultural competence is concerned with. It is to develop cultural awareness of their own culture and of the other culture, not as a way to reject this culture, but as a way to collect information, to communicate social culturally, I would say, what is social culturally acceptable. Then this is a sampling of this research, and I'm really open to your questions, comment, and suggestions for me to improve it. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Kayo, for your interesting presentation on applying multimodality in teaching additional language to the student multicultural classroom. So our participants, do you have any questions or anything to discuss with the presenter? Please just So we have one message from our neighbors of the participant regarding the idea to interpret the image for encouraging learners into cultural awareness by comparing. Then how can the teacher deal with avoiding the wrong stereotyping and generalization toward all the cultures? So Mokayo, can you please give some idea on this? Can you hear me, Mokayo?
I can hear you.
Yes, yes, we have one question from our neighbor participant here. Can you see it in the message? I will read it for you.
Okay.
So the question is, yes, it's in the message box regarding the idea to interpret the image for encouraging learners into cultural awareness by comparing by comparing, then how can the teacher deal with avoiding the wrong stereotyping generalization towards other cultures? That's the question of our participant.
Thank you for the question, and this is a very good question. Actually, I experienced in some moments this situation of, sometimes they stereotyping and generalizing. I think that in this moment, what is important is the teacher's intervention. Because when you're teaching Portuguese as an additional language, at least I do it as an Portuguese teacher, I usually do it. It is to conduct students' thought and learning, and also to learn about the audience's culture. Then I know my students' culture. For example, if I am supposed to teach Peruvians, if I am supposed to teach Venezuelans, for example, I study about their culture in order to help them to build meanings, in order to encourage them to interact with one another, but in a way that they can produce legitimate meanings for not stereotyping, you see, or generalizing. Then I believe that from my experience, from what I've experienced during the courses, which was a 6-month course, it's a lot. It was from October to December, and then from May to from March to May, you see, in a virtual environment, which I think it was very helpful to organize the ideas, to encourage students to speak up, to build concepts. And I believe that in this case, teachers' intervention is of paramount importance to avoid stereotyping and making wrong or hasty generalizations.
Thank you for your answer. And our participant, do you have any further questions or any idea to discuss with our presenter? Please, you can directly talk to the presenter or just send a message to the chat box.
Thank you.
Okay, no more question. So I think that's it for us, our first presenter today. And thank you very much, Dr. Vanipia Montejo, for your interesting presentation on an application of multimodality in teaching additional language in the context of Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese classroom. And now we will move to our second presentation with Peter. Are you ready? Are you with us now?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yes, so we will move to the second presentation today. So the summary artist, landscape of religious cyborg of Aqua Metropolis and multimodal analysis of Peter Mankind from the Department of Linguistics and Department of Linguistics at University of Western Cape Town, South Africa. So Peter, you have 20 minutes to share your presentation, and then you have 10 minutes to discuss with the participants. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, as stated, my name is Peter Makinde. I'm from Department of Linguistics, Nandi Asko University, Oka, as well as University of the Western Cape Town, South Africa. So as you can see on the screen, I'm presenting on semiotic landscapes of religious signboards in Oka Metropolis. And I'm looking at it from a multimodal analysis perspective. So here are some of the contents. I have the introduction, the literature, methods, theoretical basis for the study, Then we have the data presentation, followed by summary and conclusion. And by way of introduction, in Nigeria, individual multilingualism in its oral uses has attracted a considerable linguistic research attention. However, it is noticed that the written and visual uses have remained widely ignored, with limited studies looking at visual representation of these languages. To this end, this study examines the semiotic landscapes of religious signboards in Awka metropolis, Anambra State in Nigeria. You can see the image of the map of Anambra there, and then we are considering a part of it. This is all about Anambra, but we are looking at Awka North, Awka South within this jurisdiction. So Awka is the capital of Anambra State, located in the southern Nigeria. In examining the semiotic landscape of religious signage in Awka, as it is everywhere, signboards serve as advertising mechanisms that help to create awareness about the existence of these religious bodies. Therefore, language and visual communication are essential in the representation of these signages. Awka, like all other cities in the southern Nigeria, predominantly practices Christianity. That means we have the large number of Christians as a religion. There are also a few indigenous and non-indigenous citizens who are Muslims. Due in part to the number of Christians among the citizens, there are many churches with a few Islamic worship centers. At least 4 of such were identified. There are also a limited number who are traditionalists. This therefore contributes to the use of English, Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa languages within Awka metropolis, especially within the university community, at the worship center, marketplaces, and the general community at large. So, moving to a review, we see that the place of visual communication in a given society can only be understood in the context of the range of forms or modes of communication available in that society, as well as their uses and their valuation. This visual communication in a society is what Kress and Van Leuven regarded as semiotic landscape. Of a truth, the features of a landscape only make sense in the context of their environment and of the history of its development. So within the semiotic landscape of Awka metropolis, we look at spatial mobility of religious objects and the linguistic feasibility of multilingual writing within this locality. Languages and types of multilingual information will constitute our focus as we examine semiotic landscapes of religious symbols in Awka. The focus here is to investigate how symbols and other signs on religious symbols serve as resources for meaning making in the public space. We look at semiotic landscape. Have been seen to refer to any public space with feasible inscription made through deliberate human intervention and meaning making. So, semiotic landscape is here understood as the visual linguistic environment, including various semiotic resources, such as text, symbols, logos, and picture or image used. So, semiotic landscape combines 3 major areas of scholarly interest. They are language and visual discourse. We have spatial practices, and we also have the changes brought about by global capitalism and ever-increasing mediatization, in order to examine how landscape generates meaning. Although a number of studies have been done on SA, in Nigeria, only very limited studies have been done that focus on signage. You can see Adetuji and Ian, and a few number of them. So public signs are a particular type of semiotic signs because they point to some other thing other than themselves. Some signs are placed directly on the company buildings or premises, while some point the direction to the side of the businesses. As Bacchus note, The makeup of a sign includes index, icon, and symbol. Such sign can be categorized into two types, which we are going to look at: the top-down and bottom-up signs. We are going to look at this in the analysis. Methods. A qualitative research design is used for the study. Data for the study were collected through an ethnographic observation of religious symbols in Awka metropolis. So a total of 40 religious symbols comprising of Orthodox churches, Pentecostal churches, and then we have the new generation churches, as well as Islamic ones were looked at. These religious symbols were collected from the study site with the aid of a phone camera. The data were analyzed using a qualitative multimodal discourse analysis approach, focusing mainly on the different symbolic representations used in religious symbols. Theoretical framework. The study is theoretically framed around Kress and Van Leeuwen's multimodality, as well as a race typology of multilingual writing. The figure here gives a brief of what we are going to look at under the multimodality by Kress and Van Leeuwen, considering the representational, interactive, and the compositional aspects of these symbols. This is followed by the multilingual writing by Ray. So this figure presents Ray's multilingual writing, where we are going to look at the spatial mobility, the feasibility of multilingual writing, are they feasible or covered, as well as types of multilingual information that are available on these symbols. We now move to data. Data on semiotic linguistic of religious symbols are thematically discussed here from multilingual perspective. How these resources are multimodally represented via such resources as information value, framing, silencing, as well as categorization and interactive aspects of this symbol are also presented. So I have the first table showing data on Orthodox churches. We could see the category on Orthodox churches that we have. Top down, we have bottom up under the category, and the information value, as well as number of semiotic linguistic. So here we have 5 items, and we look at them from multilingual perspective, as well as the semiotic resources that are employed in these Orthodox churches symbols. So the next present the images of this symbol. The first 3 one, we could see showing Orthodox churches about the Catholic parish, the Evangelical Church of Resurrection, the Apostolic Church of Nigeria, and then followed by 2 other ones that are presented here. When we look at the strategic position of these symbols, we could see that the symbols serve both as direction, indicating the presence of these churches within the geographical location, as well as means of creating awareness about existence of these churches to visitors and the general community. The first 2 that were presented, the first 2 billboards or symbols, use text and colors as semiotic resources. But when you look at the third one, this particular, the third one combines a more silenced logo, font size. This particular third one, it combines a more silenced logo, font size, and color. While the last 2 that we have here, the last 2 are multimodal in their use of text, images, church logos, along with textual elements to represent the presence of these churches. The next one, which is table 2, present data on the Pentecostal churches. Here we presented 8 Pentecostal churches categorized under top down and then bottom up. So we also have the multilingualism aspect of it, as well as the semiotic resources that are employed in representing these symbols. These are some of the symbols that we presented here, 8 of them. they are categorized under Pentecostal churches. So we could see the Redeemed, we could see the Assemblies of God, we could see Seventh-day Adventists, Deeper Life is there, and other churches. Then the last of this one is showing Pentecostal churches of Kingdom or of Jehovah's Witness. In their unique nature, the collage of signboards presented here represent those of Pentecostal churches. These signboards are strategically positioned along the streets within the location of these churches. The signboards provide direction and indicate the presence of these churches in these locations. These billboards or signboards use text, church logos, and colors in their representation, with the exception of this of that of Jehovah's Witness that uses only text with an arrow as a sign in place. The last one, data on new generation churches. This is where we have a lot of data. I tag them new generation churches, and we have top down, bottom up, and then as per the information value, we could see them here. So we present a total of 26 items here. We can see them in the different categories and also categorize them under text, the use of text and logo, text, logo, along with images. So these are some of them here. So we have the first figure 6A here, presenting new generation churches that use logos and other semiotic resources. The same thing follow here. We can see they use pictures, they use images, logos, and words. And we are going to look at why they use all these semiotic resources within the semiotic landscape. And here we present those without pictures or without images. Rather, we have the logo and the name of those churches, all written in capital letter and in bold. So this is further on other figures presenting those without pictures, but logos and other meaning-making resources. All the data presented in figures 6 and 7 above adopt Kress and Van Leeuwen's view of multimodal representation. We could see the use of these visuals help to create awareness about the church or about these churches, and this attracts more worshippers through these semiotic modes. Let us look at this particular billboard that I started from the other one. You can see the left to right positioning or movement, reading movement, and with a lot of color and then many other resources that were employed there. Then coming to the other aspect of the presentation, we figure 8 presents or show Muslim Copper Association. It is worthy of note that within Awka metropolis, there are 4 Muslim Islamic worship centers, but none of these worship centers have signboards. So from the fieldwork, observations show that there are a few number of Islamic centers, but these worship centers do not have signboards displaying their presence. The only available one is that showing Muslim Copper Association of Nigeria. So we now move to discussion. The first that I want to look at is the spatial mobility of these items, of these signboards. Looking at colon physical and material symbol on geosemiotics. Scholar notes that physical, material, and symbolic aspect of places are resources in producing meaning for the signs and practices found in them. Therefore, the strategic position of religious signboards as presented in this study in their semiotic landscape contributes to the location of this advert in the material world. So as presented in the data above, the spatial mobility of the signboard show that 33 of these signboards are positioned along the roadside or junction to show direction to where these churches are. 7 of them are placed in front of the building or walls of these worship centers. Then we look at the feasibility of multilingualism. It is observed, despite the fact that Awka is a multilingual society, we could see the presence of covert multilingualism in all the signboard, the religious signboard that were presented. So in the data presented, there is no visibility of multilingualism in all the religious signboards. Rather, there is visibility of covert multilingualism with all the appellations and other texts rendered in the English language. The only visible elements of multilingual are the addresses and names of these areas where these symbols are positioned. Then we now move to discussion on each of the tables presented. The first one is on Orthodox symbol. So table 1 presents 5 semiotic landscape items of Christian symbols. 4 of them are symbols, while 1 is a program banner. 5 of the items are categorized under top-down multilingualism. So the multimodal elements indicate the use of top-bottom information value. All the items as well are written in the English language, showing the covert nature of multilingualism within the vicinity. We might be wondering, what are the causes of this covert expression in the religious symbols? Then the next one is on discussion on Pentecostal symbols. In table 2, we have 8 items representing data from Pentecostal churches. All of these items are top-down in their multilingual representation. In addition, one of the items presented uses text consisting of big font size and an arrow pointing in the direction of the church. 7 of the items incorporate text, logo, and other semiotic resources as visual elements. Like the previous data, all the items are rendered in the English language, so they are all monolingual, apart from the name and addresses of these location of these signboards. Then, in the last table presented, we have 26 items comprises of new generational symbols. 25 of these items are categorized under top-down multilingualism. Compositionally, 18 items have top-bottom information value, while 7 items are left-right in their reading direction. The table also shows that 4 of the items use textual elements of different font sizes and color. 10 use text and logo, while 13 of the items incorporate multimodality in their representation. Out of these 26 items presented in table 3, only 1 is bottom-up. Like the previous one, the previous data presented, all the items are monolingual and are rendered in the English language. Observations. While English and Igbo are the major languages spoken in Oka, there are a few speakers of Yoruba and Hausa language, as mentioned earlier, especially within the Federal University that is in that location. This factor contributes to the dominant use of English as the official language, with Igbo language taking secondary position in oral uses. We can also see, when we look at language use at the various religious centers, we have individual multilingualism in oral uses, which is very common. The written multilingualism was widely ignored among individuals. So limited bilingual texts written in 2 languages exist. So we also have existence of mixed codes in oral use, such as code missing or Nigerian Pidgin English. For further finding, by investigating 40 religious signboards in Noka metropolis, the study intends to find out the multilingual status of these signboards within the geosemiotic landscape. So findings from the study show evidence in support of the use of English language as dominant language on the semiotic landscape of Oka metropolis. Unlike other signboards found within the metropolis, other signboards that are advertising other products, the results show a strong presence of English language on religious signboards in the semiotic landscape of Oka, with the local language, that is Igbo, serving the oral purpose at these worship centers. We could remember that this could be as a result of the fact that Nigeria was colonized by British. In this way, Written language are limited to the religious symbols, while the spoken language incorporate the use of multilingualism in some of these churches. Multilingualism in religious gathering, lecture halls, translanguage as mentioned, communicating, it should be encouraged to give room for use of multiple modes of communication in our society at large. In the face of increase in technology and the world of AI, multimodal use in terms of language, visuals, and sign should be encouraged in our society for the benefit of local, non-indigenous, and children within the community. So these are some of the references that are used for this study. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Peter. So our participants, do you have any question to discuss with Peter on the use of multi-modalities in cyborgs, religious cyborgs? Please just send a message, or you can talk directly to the presenter. So Peter, I would like to have my own questions on this, because I also work on the multimodality, the meanings of the visual imagery in East Asian philosophy concepts. And I'm particularly interested in your topic about the cyborg religions. And is there any sharing of the symbols, the meaning of the symbols between the cyborgs of the different religions in your study?
Okay, yeah. As we look at it, although I've stopped sharing, most of these logos are symbolic. Let me share once again. Most of these symbols logos are symbolic. The logo used for each of the churches. So let me just share once again so that we have a look at them. So let's say, for example, the Apostolic Church of Nigeria. This is the logo of the church. It is made prominent and made visible. And we could see a figure, a represented participant, human, and then some animals following, showing one fold and one shepherd. You can see the one fold and one shepherd is in complementarity with the fold, meaning signifying Jesus Christ, who is leading the church. So this logo has meaning. It has semiotic import. So when you look at other logos too that are used here, you could see a lot of meaning-making resources there and their significance. Look at the Redeemed Christian Church of God logo, for example. You can see the symbol of a bird signifying the Holy Spirit, signifying the presence of the Holy Spirit in that church, and that they are being led of the Spirit. So when you also move to other one that we have from the new generation churches, you can see that the figure here is to use visual to capture the mind of the youth, because by looking at these visuals, the youth are influenced to worship at these centers. So because Oka is also a university environment, most of the churches within this area employ this multimodal nature in their signboard representation. So we can see that most of them have the images of the founder of the churches. Most of them are presented in a captivating way. And when you look at this particular one for CASA, this one has to do with Student Fellowship Center. You can see that they put images of students here praying, meditating, and seeking the face of God. Then when you come to the Dominion City. You can see the figure. This particular one is a kind of banner in fighting for a program. So you can see that in all this, they employ multimodality in such a way that the viewers are persuaded, are influenced to do what? To come and worship at their center. So all the visuals employed here, all the semiotic landscape employed here are symbolical.
Okay, thank you very much. It's very interesting because I can see the angle of most of the figures in the photos in the low angle, the close shot. And we have another question from our participant. How did you annotate the data, the samples? Did you use any software for annotation?
No, I did not use any software. It was done manually. I did it manually.
Yes, yes. How do you mean you did it manually?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So our participants, do you have any other question for Peter? Okay. If you have any further question, you can contact Peter directly for further discussion. So thank you very much, Peter, and hope you enjoy the rest of our conference.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So our participants, we haven't seen other presenters in our session yet, so we can have 2 or 3 minutes break before the presenters on our breakout room.